Hello guys, my name is Manish, and in this video I will explain what are the different types of fats and which one are good and which one are straight away poisons. So let's begin my story. So it was April 10th, 2024, recently, like 10 15 days, I don't know. Recently, me and my friends, some group of my friends went to like cycle riding for some quite a distance, like 15 20 kilometers. I know it's not a lot, but we're still kids, so it's quite a lot for us. And then while we were coming back, we were literally hungry. So there was like a roadside shop kind of thing. So we went there and ordered a palau. Then after that we ate it and we went to our another friend's home. From there we went to a swimming pool and we played around a lot in swimming pool, and then we came back. But while coming back, all of us was starving. So what we did was, again there was another roadside shop. So we went there and ordered. I ordered puri and a plate of dosa and pulao. Like they are all oil items. Then we came back home and I went somewhere else to buy some clothes, and then comes the next day. When I wake up and see my face in the mirror, what do you think might have happened? Well, there is chlorine in the water, so it might be black, but it's worse than that. You see this patch? This patch came after I went and did all that day, and here all of pimples. I didn't know why that was happening, but now I know. So let me go through this. First one is saturated fat. Like, from the name of saturated fat, many of you will will be half scared to death because your doctor told that it is the bad kind of fat, but your doctor don't know shit. Why? Because they learned what scientists of the old time, like in the 1940s 50s, discovered. But we already proved most of that theories wrong. So the doctors tell you that saturated fat is bad, but as a viewer, I think you should know where those saturated fats are coming from. They are coming from red meats, from dairy products, from eggs. They are the major source of saturated fat. So your doctor tells you to avoid red meat, to eat less egg, and if possible, don't eat whole egg but only egg whites, and then not to eat dairy products in general, because most of us are lactose intolerant. I don't know why they're intolerant to it if they were born drinking that. Then, so here's the thing: saturated fats. We have been eating it for like the dawn of mankind. Why? Because before we were agriculturalists, but before that, even before that, while in our times of cavemen and like that something, what do you think we were doing? We were hunting animals and eating their meat, not even cooked. Cooking came afterwards, quite a bit afterwards. But before that, we killed animals, we slaughtered them. Yeah, I don't know what, and then started eating them. So, which kind of meat was most common in like the zoo? What do you call, man? In those forests, one buffaloes in like the deserts type of environment, and in here, like in tropical environment, like boars, pigs, and all that stuff. They all have saturated fat. From the dawn of mankind, we have been eating saturated fats in animals and all that. We didn't have a single disease, like known disease, because after knowing them, that is a disease. So yeah, I think it makes sense that from the start we didn't have a single disease called heart attack. From the dawn of mankind, there is no record of heart attack. Then suddenly in 1900s, we started dropping like flies to heart attack. And the doctors and scientists blamed where they blamed for the saturated fat. We didn't have a single heart attack while eating pure meat, only saturated fat, but we are dropping like flies now that we are eating a small quantity of saturated fat. How does that make sense? So here's the story. Like the American Heart Association, it got quite a lot of amount of funds from, I think, oil companies and all that, oil companies and sugar companies, not sugar companies, but cereal companies and all that. So they were doing research in a biased way. So the results won't be like, if the results were like against saturated fats, they would be published. But if it's not, then they would hold it back, hold that information back. So the saturated fat, another thing is, for saturated fat, it's the best for fat loss. That's why you see that all keto dieting, some like that, because saturated fat will make you really full. Because generally, what happens is, like, let's say you're fasting right now and your blood sugar is going like this. Suddenly, you eat like a bowl of rice, then your blood sugar will like go really high, and after some times, like 1 hour, 1.5 hours, it will crash. When that crash, there's two things will happen. Your brain can't function properly while it crash. That's why, like, if you've noticed, after you eat like your you know, lunch, like if it's really rich in carbohydrates, after a few times, few hours, you feel really really sleepy. That's because your brain can't function properly after eating carbohydrates. And then there is the next thing, you will become more hungry, because like, think about it in your brain's perspective. Your blood sugar was going like this, suddenly it went like this, and suddenly it went like this. Your brain will think, it's, oh no, I'm going to die. So it demands you to eat more. Then you eat more of carbohydrates, then you feel more hungry. Like the cycle repeats. But on the other hand, like some of them tell you, if you eat protein, it will not crash something like it will. There will be no sugar crash. It is kind of true. Why? Because like, imagine this: your blood sugar is going like this. Then, if you eat protein, like only pure protein, like whey protein isolate something, it will go like this, but it will come down, like not that high of a peak. But on the other hand, if you eat fats, your blood sugar will go like this while you're fasting. Then, when you like ingest some fatty food like meat or something, it will go like this. But then it will like not. Here is your fasting, normal blood glucose. But if you eat meat, it will go like this, but only this, like not really high peak, around quite near the baseline. Okay, so that's why saturated fat is good. So next comes the monounsaturated fatty acids, not fats. Monounsaturated fats. These are rich in olive oil. Like olive oil is mainly made of monounsaturated fats, and it's good, but only if you don't heat it. Because once you heat it, it will directly convert into trans fat. And as you may already know, trans fat is really really bad for you. It will block your heart and will cause you a heart attack. There is not much thing to discuss, though. If one thing I will add, that olive oil, you need to be really careful, because I heard somewhere like there's really adulteration in olive oils. So you need to make sure that the brand you to the olive oil you choose is like a good quality and a trusted brand. But I will advise you, do not use it to heat something or like cook something. Only use it as a salad dressing like they use it now. Only that. Next comes the polyunsaturated fatty acids. You might hear me telling fatty acids and fats, they're both the same. Unless I mention that fatty acids is different from fats, they're both the same. So here's the thing: polyunsaturated fats are like abundant in seed oils, like sunflower seed oil, peanut seed oil, something oils, and all that stuff. But the Heart Association, tells that polyunsaturated fats are really good for you. Why? Because like another thing I forgot to mention, saturated fats raise your blood like cholesterol levels, and you might have heard doctors saying cholesterol is bad. You should keep it low. So here the saturated fats rises the cholesterol level. If that happens, your chances of getting a heart attack increase. They say, but the polyunsaturated fatty acids, it does not like increase your cholesterol levels. So you might think that, oh yeah, then it must be good. Does not raise your cholesterol level, but it does really bad things to your body. First of all, it's like really, if you heat it, the here's the thing, let's sketch this out. So this is saturated. You cannot break this from anywhere. If you attack it, you cannot break this, let's suppose. Then here's monounsaturated. Yes, here's this. Here is a small bit of gap. So if something attacks it, like think of it like that way, your body does not function like that, but think of it that way. Then if you attack it, there is a small amount of chance that it will go like this or something. But here's the thing, in polyunsaturated, it's completely like this. If something comes and hits here, it will become like this. Do you think this and this are similar? No, obviously not. This is just an analogy for you to understand. So this polyunsaturated fats, if you heat it, if you heat really high, if you heat it really high, while you do deep fries and all that, it will give off some oxidized something. I don't remember, oxidized something. And one thing I know, if it's oxidized, it is bad. Okay. So if you let's give my example. I ate a puri. No, in that puri, like it is deep fried, something like that, and I ate it. I don't. I think it's like if it's a roadside, then the possibility of it being used for 2 to 3 days is really high. So let's suppose it was seated for 2 days, for every hour and so. And I ate that that puri which is fried in the seed oil. Then if I eat that, the one thing is oxidized particles. I will say oxidized particles, but I don't know what that is. So I know it's bad because it goes and touches your DNA and do something to your DNA, and your cell will go cancerous. That's all I know about it. But let's say, yeah, I eat that, and the whole lot of oxidized particles move around in my body, causing cancer everywhere. And so, to prevent that, your immune system will react and will do something weird. I think yeah, inflammation. It will do inflammation. That's why I think the reason why I got so many pimples after eating that. Then the next one is it can also be converted to trans fat, though less quantities, but it can be converted into trans fats. And another thing, polyunsaturated fatty acids, I mean like the seed oils in which they are present, also have omega 6 fatty acids. Omega 6 I'll discuss later. It's also kind of bad fat. Then the next will go to omega 3 fatty acids. Where do you think they are present? You might know they are abundantly present in fishes, all the fishes. Why? Because they eat algae, like the moss that grows underwater. They eat that algae, a certain type of algae, which produces its own omega 3. So it's getting from another source. But you get the omega 3 if you catch it from the ocean or river type of environment. But now what they are doing is they are farming the fish. Do you think that they will allow some algae to accumulate in a farmed area? No, they will tell that, oh, it's uncleanly. And I don't know. It's uncleanly. Let's use the word uncleanly. So they will wipe that all off. Do you think they are getting the omega 6 from eating them from the the natural environment? But now they are not getting that. but in the label, like some labels, they will write rich in omega 3. If they don't eat it, they won't get it. If they don't eat it, then we also won't get it. So you need to make sure that omega 3, like the fish you eat, comes from like naturally sea fish, like they catch directly from the sea. So that's it. It's also quite good for your brain and neuron functioning and all that. So it's really good. Then next comes the omega 6, as I mentioned previously. The polyunsaturated fats in which they are present, like the seed oils and all that, that is rich in another type of fat, omega 6 fatty acids, and this is pro inflammatory, which means it will cause inflammation in your body. And this, by the way, the omega 3 are like anti-inflammatory. Then next, so it's really good. There are some benefits, some more benefits of omega 3, but I don't know that. Then omega 6, they are like, they're pro-inflammatory. That's already bad, and it like, what do you call? It will harm your brain. Let's go with that. Then it's already bad, so I've given two reasons why not to eat seed oils. The next one is trans fats. Trans fats, like I already said, they're literal poisons. If you eat them, you're going to die early. There is no denying it. So, like in the previous times, like not really far back, like in the 1900s, the companies which manufactured like sugary stuff and all that, like preserved the goods, would use trans fat as the preservative. Why? Because the trans fat cannot be broken down by bacteria. But they forgot that we are highly evolved species of bacteria. So if the bacteria can digest it, then we can also not digest it. Like digest means break it down. So it will accumulate in your bloodstream and like someday cause you heart attack. So it's already bad. I already mentioned that monounsaturated fat, if you heat them, it will get converted to trans fat. This is why they are bad. And in the previous days, like I don't quite clearly know, but there was what do you call? There was like some company that sold cotton seed oil. And do you know where the cotton seed oil were used? In the greasing for like engines and all that, for greases. They gave that, like they really like refined it and gave it to us to eat it. And there's another thing, that margarine, I think it is trans fat only, but I can't quite remember. So another thing, like the like I told you, the polyunsaturated fats are really bad for you, because if you heat them, it will release oxidized particles. But did you know, before you even pick it up from the shelf of a supermarket, it has already been heated thrice. To first, to refine it, I don't know what that is. Then to remove the odor, and then another thing, like it's really highly refined. Okay, like that. So before you even pick it up, it's already a poison, because it contains really large amount of like oxidized particles. And when like you try to shit and when like you eat it afterwards, like in the case of the roadside junk foods type of shit, if you eat that, it's already been like heated three times. And once they pour the packet, they will use it for 2 to 3 days minimum in India. I know that for sure. If they do that, how much oxidized particles would be there? A boatload, right? That's true. So what is the solution? The solution I already mentioned at the start: saturated fats. Like you might, I didn't tell you this, but saturated fats, like they come from dairy products. If that is the case, then there is one dairy product, two dairy products actually, that is rich, really rich in fats. One is butter and another one is ghee. Previously, I was using ghee for in cooking food. I means my mother. No, before that, my mother was using oil, and then she went on to cold pressed because it is not heated and it's cold pressed. But I like, argued that it is also bad, so my mother went and bought ghee. But I had one more thing that I didn't like. The ghee was packaged in literally worst type of plastic that like it will wiggle around when you do that. Like this plastic is not that harmful, though it is harmful, but not that. And this one also. Hard plastics are not that harmful, but really like the soft ones, wiggly ones, the it will come in packets. That type of plastic is really bad, and my mother was using that. Then like recently, I forced her to make ghee from butter. Like, here is the process. Another tip. So actually, like in India, ghee, like 1 liter of Nandini ghee, it is quite good. It is the most popular brand in South in Karnataka, but I don't know in other states from of India. So that ghee, it is 650 something for 1 liter. But the same for butter. The butter one is for 1 kg. It is 555 rupees. Like one thing difference. But the drawback is that the in the butter it cannot be stored for long. Why? Because it contains really like more moisture, so it will spoil really quickly. So we clarify it and make it ghee in our house. Here's the process. Take a big what do you call uh, big pot. It should be flat. I'm telling this as spot because I don't know other things. It should be flat. Then cut it to small cubes, and then pour that into the pot, and then heat it slowly. Heat it. Don't turn it on full heat. Slowly heat it, and after that you need to mix it around quite a bit, because if it will get stuck to the bottom of the pot. It's common knowledge, so just mix it. And then after it settles down, it will like boil. It starts giving out white what do you call white stuff. Let's call it white stuff. And that is my mother told it was casein protein, and all that protein will go, and it will do something. So boil it in low temperature, not high flame but low flame. After sometimes all that white stuff will go and accumulate on the sides, and once you start seeing the inside, what do you call, like the bottom of the pot, you need to pour something called Ville Dele. I don't know what that means in English, but I will just show a picture of it. Ville Dele. So if you put that on the when once you see the bottom, if you put that inside that, the leaf will absorb all the moisture, and it will make the that one be really clear. The ghee, it will become really clear. So it's quite a cheap method to do that. But here's the thing: if you avoid plastic, I will do anything if I can avoid plastic. So thank you. If you like this video, please subscribe and share it to others. Thank you.